Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm going to have a webinar with you on crowdsourcing, and this webinar is for NIBM Global. Crowdsourcing. Have you heard this word called crowdsourcing? It's of late very much common, and most of the companies nowadays are using this crowdsourcing. Now, why crowdsourcing and what is crowdsourcing? Crowdsourcing is a process of getting work for funding, usually online, from a crowd of people. This is actually the combination of two words, crowd and outsourcing. So it's combined together as crowdsourcing. People nowadays are becoming very strong, becoming very knowledgeable, and at times people or the crowd itself, the customers, are becoming the king, and at the same time they are more knowledgeable than many other people who are in the organizations. So organizations or the brands or the MNCs have tried to utilize this knowledge as well as the creativity from the part of the crowd. The term crowdsourcing was coined in 2005 by Jeff Howe and Mark Robinson for Weird magazine. The crowdsourcing is a combination, as I said, of crowd and outsourcing. It's a specific source model in which individuals or organizations use contributions from internet users to obtain needed services or ideas. Now, when we look into the annals of history, when we trace back to 1700s, you understand that this crowdsourcing was not something that was invented in this internet era. In 1714, the longitudinal price, when the British government was trying to find a new way to measure a ship's longitudinal position, they offered public a monetary prize to whomever came up with the best solution. So this was the first ever thought about thing, and there are some evidences when we go through the literature that there are some evidences, and in BC also during the dial clock and all, this crowdsourcing was also implemented. There is another instance where I would like to tell you is in 1783, King Louis XVI offered an award for the person who could make an alkali by decomposing sea salt by the simplest and most economic method. Okay, so I hope you understood what is crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is you're throwing the problem towards the customers or the people, and you're finding the solution from the people and thereby solving the problem. So in one sense, the company is at safe. Company has nothing to do with it. They simply have to make sure that the idea that is being coming out from the customers or the people are okay and feasible. Now, the process of crowdsourcing goes like this. The company has a problem. Company broadcasts the problem online or throws it open to the customers. Online crowd is asked to give solutions. Crowd submits the solutions and crowd verifies the solutions. Company rewards the winning solvers. Company owns winning solutions and company gains the profit. Now, there are different types of crowdsourcing. The first one is crowdfunding. Second one is the wisdom of the crowd. Third one is crowdsourcing creative work, and the last one is micro work. Now, all these are very simple terms and easy and lucid to understand. Crowdfunding describes the collective effort of individuals who network and pool their money, usually via the internet, to support efforts initiated by other people or organizations. This includes disaster relief, startup company funding, free software development, scientific research, and many more. Now, the wisdom of the crowd or the knowledge of the crowd. The wisdom of the crowd is a process of taking into account the collective opinion of the individuals rather than a single expert. Now, here when we have a problem, we go and ask a single expert and get a solution. Rather than that, you post that particular solution or particular question and throw them to the air, and you get the experts, a lot of experts, a plethora of experts in the crowd who gives their answers, and they themselves verifies it, and only thing that we have to do is to verify them for the acceptability of the company. Crowdsourcing creative work. The creative crowdsourcing spans sourcing creative projects such as graphic design, architecture, apparel design, writing illustrations, etc. from the crowd. See, there are a lot of people out there who are very creative. So if you have something that is, for example, a logo design. Now Motorola had done this concept of redesigning the logo. So they threw it open to the consumers as a challenge, logo design challenge. And it is the people who came out with more than hundreds of logos, and what the company had to do was to select the best logo. So it was such a simple exercise where nothing was from the part of Motorola to lose from. The last type of this is about micro work. Micro work is simply like you are dividing the entire work into small projects. Micro work is a series of small tasks which together comprise a large unified work project and are completed by many people over the internet. Micro work is considered as the smallest unit of work in a virtual assembly line. It is often used when human intelligence is required to complete tasks effectively. So it's crowd which does little pieces of work, and finally the company just have to unite and join them. Now, applications of crowdsourcing. Now, a lot of companies have already used it and is still using it. And the testing and refining a project was done by Netflix and Seller brand. Marketing research was done by Threadless brand. Knowledge management was done by Accenture and Wikipedia. You know, the biggest brand Wikipedia is taking resources, taking its knowledge from the customers. And customer service was done effectively by Starbucks Ideas. The Starbucks Ideas have taken a lot of ideas from the customers, especially in McDonald's also have done this concept. McDonald's wanted to revise their menu. So they threw this challenge open to the customers and they gave the menu what they like. Now one beauty is that when the customers decide their menu and customers decide what they like, it is all the more effective because customers are trying to say that we like this and they buy it more. And research and development was taken to this crowdsourcing by Innovative Center and Procter & Gamble Connect and Develop. Finally, polling and voting was done by Building a New City and InTrade brands. Now, these are some of the examples which we can see live as what big brands and companies are effectively using crowdsourcing. And now, as what I've said, when we trace back to the history, we saw the different kings of 1700 using it. The history of Genesis would like to say in 1936, Toyota used this, and in 1955, Sydney Opera House has used it. In 2001, the biggest brand called Wikipedia has used it. In 2002, American Idol was there. In 2005, YouTube has come to the market, and in 2006, crowdsourcing name was coined. But before that itself, already these kind of things were already there in the market. Now, some of the major crowdsourcing initiatives were done by the Toyota's first dream car art in 2004. It was a contest where children were asked globally to draw their dream car of the future. Now, when children draw the dream car of the future, now that particular idea and that particular design were incorporated by Toyota. See the generosity as well as the risk taken by Toyota. They implemented the designs drawn by the children. In 2005, Kodak's Go for the Gold contest, where Kodak asked anyone to submit a picture of a personal victory. Now, in 2006, Jeff Howe coined the term crowdsourcing in Weird magazine, and in 2009, one of the most biggest, when you look into the chart, the top rating chart, one of the biggest crowdsourcing activity was done by Waze, a community-oriented GPS app, allows for users to submit road information and route data based on location, such as reports of car accidents or traffic blocks, that integrates data into a routing algorithm for all users of the app. You can even see that in Club FM and Radio Mango and all, where the RJs try to ask customers if there is any roadblock and message them or SMS them at the same time. You can blog them. So these are types of crowdsourcing. Finally, before I conclude, I will try to tell you what is the benefits of crowdsourcing. The problems can be explored at a comparatively mere cost, very little cost. There is no requirement of research and development. There is no requirement of a creative artist or a creative expert required. The mob or as well as a crowd is the expert who design all these things. Payment is by results. Maybe you can just give up what do you say, one momentum, or maybe a mere gift is also required. The organization can tap a wider range of talent than might be present in its own organization, turn customers into designers, turn customers into marketers. But there are some problems. There might be quality issues. You might not be getting what you really require. Intellectual property leakage might happen. There might be no time constraint. You cannot tell the customers that before this you should submit it. And ill will with the own consumers, own employees itself might get a little demotivated, because the entire thing, the biggest challenge is given to the crowd to pull the data from. Choosing what to crowdsource and what to keep in-house is also another challenge. Okay, so with this, let me conclude. Today we had a small concept called crowdsourcing. This crowdsourcing concept is coined from two words, crowd and outsourcing. And we learned about what are the different types of crowdsourcing, what are the benefits of crowdsourcing, and at the same time, what are the limitations of crowdsourcing. Now, I would like to throw this topic open to you. Give more thoughts, give more flush into it by reading more. And at the same time, this is Jitin Benedict for NIBM Global. Thank you.